How long should I keep Windows 10 backups after system updates? Hi everyone, I'm Leo Notenboom for askleo.com. As you can imagine, backing up around major system updates is a pretty important thing. The real question here then is, well, if I'm backing up, how long should I hang on to those? Well, that's an interesting question because there's really no right answer. There are many wrong answers, but there's no right answer. The wrong answer, of course, is to get rid of it almost immediately. The right answer, the only truly right answer, is to realize that there's no such thing as having too many backups. If you've got disks to keep them on, you can keep them as long as you feel like. But how long should you? Well, my rule of thumb is that you should always take a backup during major milestones. In other words, like the half-yearly Windows 10 update is a very good example. My suggestion is that you back up immediately prior to such an update. That way, if something goes wrong during the update, you'll have that backup to restore to. I've heard of some folks actually backing up immediately after the update. That's kind of sort of okay, as long as you backed up before the update too. It's the backup before the update that is the most important, simply because it is a safety net should the update itself have any problems. Now, those I recommend keeping for, I'll just say, a minimum of a couple of months. In reality, maybe a full 6 months. In other words, if you feel like it, keep it until the next major system update. But ultimately, a couple of months usually does the trick. What we're trying to protect ourselves from are any problems that happen to appear after a major update, but not immediately after that a major update. So maybe a couple of weeks down the road, you finally run a program that you haven't run for a while, or you exercise your system in some way that does something that you didn't realize until then had been broken by the update. You at least have the update as a safety net to go back to. It'll be painful after a few weeks, don't get me wrong, but maybe you won't need to go back to the update itself. Maybe you'll just need to pick up a few files. Who knows? The bottom line is, I'm usually comfortable with a couple of months worth of safety net after major updates. Now, I do have to point out that for most people who are already backing up, this point may be moot. And in fact, if you've been following my recommendation for backing up, which is a monthly full image backup and daily incremental backups, then you actually already have everything you need. By backing up daily, you are creating a system image that could be restored to that day's point. If that day happens to be immediately prior to a system update, you've got the backup we've been talking about. Since you're doing it every day, then you've got the backup we're already talking about. So you're doing this automatically already. You're already creating the system image backup that we care about before you actually take a system update. The only thing left then is how long to keep it. And as it turns out, a couple of months is usually what I recommend, a good rule of thumb for people to keep these daily incremental images. Not necessarily for a massive problem with an update. Usually at that point, it's because you've lost a file a few weeks ago, you want to recover something from a backup, you remember you had it about a month ago, whatever, you know that it's in that daily backup somewhere. But it serves as the same safety net for Windows Update. So keep things for a couple of months, back up daily, and you'll be good. Especially with disk space being as inexpensive as it is these days, it's easy to keep maybe more than you think you need. It's wrong. It's a problem. It will cause you a problem in the future if you keep too few. Hope that was helpful. For links, for updates, for comments, and more, visit askleo.com/129646. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.